the majestic coast mountains rise up to greet you. And you find yourself on a historic journey that retraces the route of the great 19th century explorers. Let your imagination travel along with the first pioneers, across rushing rivers, through magnificent canyons, alongside sheer rock faces, but with the unparalleled luxury and service the early explorers could never dream of. Marvel in awe as you cut through ancient gray-green volcanic rocks that are 200 million years old. Well, give or take a million. Now you find yourself back in 1885 at Craigellachie, the famous site of the last spike, where Canada's east and west were finally united by 3,200 kilometers of track. With vivid historic imagery still in your mind, the awe-inspiring natural beauty continues to unfold before your eyes. Like those who came before you, your journey follows the Kicking Horse River deep into the breathtaking Canadian Rockies. Here's your chance to bring out your inner landscape photographer. Next up, the legendary spiral tunnels, which opened in 1909. Twist your way through the engineering marvel that proved to be the most difficult terrain to break on Canada's railroad. By now, you're as steeped in history as the vertical drops of the magnificent mountains you pass by. Postcard images continue to appear around every bend until eventually, world-famous Banff comes into view. And you're left wondering how it's possible to travel both forwards and backwards in time. The first passage to the west. Now, who says you can't travel through time?
There are moments in life that leave a lasting impression, like the feeling of movement as a new journey begins, or the sight of soft fur warmed by the morning sun. You might remember new flavors, or a view that defies all expectations. These are the memories that stay with you long after the moments have passed. Rocky Mountaineer. Explore the Canadian Rockies by rail.
Wow. Wow. I want to go on that train so bad. Oh my God. I watched that video earlier this afternoon. I'm like, oh my God, I've got to go on this train.
And I'm so happy you chose that video. Hi, everyone.
Hey, folks, welcome to the show tonight. I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor with Where's Walter Travel. We like to book cruise, land, luxury, and expedition. And tonight, we're leaving the ocean behind for a night, and we're going to get on the rails and take a train ride with the iconic Rocky Mountaineer. You know, if you've heard of a train at all in the United States, you've probably heard of the Rocky Mountaineer and the beauty of it and everything about it. And I'm just so excited that you're here to explain a little bit more about it and introduce it to everybody. So hi, Jeff. How's everything going?
Everything is fantastic, Walter. I'm so happy to be here. And honestly, I'm looking forward to sharing what I know with all of your viewers and those who watch later on. I can't thank you enough for your time.
That is wonderful. And I see we got Eric just got back from 23 days at sea. Welcome back to land, Eric. Hi, Sue. Hi, Alec. Bill's fan. How you doing? Betty's here. Stan's here. Becky. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, if you have questions, feel free to jump in. Jeff has a great presentation prepared, and we'll take little breaks from time to time. But anytime you got a question, just jump in. Hey, Jen, how are you? Just go ahead and jump in with your questions, and we will do our very best to get you the answers. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up your screen, Jeff, so everybody can see it. And why don't you start? Well, actually, why don't you start off with who you are and how we work together?
Sure thing. So, Jeff Caesar, I've been in the travel and tourism industry now coming up to 20 years. First 10 years before Rocky Mountaineer, I was with Norwegian Cruise Line. 5 years on ships. Yes, 5 years on ships, working up to the position as a cruise director.
See, I knew we had a connection. There you go.
Right? It makes perfect sense now. The dots connect. But no, cruising was definitely where I started my whole career in this industry and truly loved it. It was a fantastic way to see the world. And honestly, to be quite frank and honest with you all, I met my wife. We used to work together for a couple years on ships, and then went off. I joined corporate. I was a business development manager in the Midwest for another 4.5, almost 5 years, but it's 4.5. And a couple years later, my wife and I, we married, and last November of 19th, so November 19th, thank you. We celebrated 13 years, and we have 2 girls, Christina, who is 3 years old, and Sophia, who is 7. So, honestly, life started back in the cruising days, and then I've now been over 10 years with Rocky Mountaineer. My position with this company is the key account manager, overseeing all the hosts in a international level. And I have to tell you, this has been such a rewarding, amazing experience. I'm blessed, honestly, to be not only part of this company, but in this industry. As you know, Walter, it's a fantastic one. And how we work together, Walter and I, is I oversee pretty much where Walter's part of a larger host agency. I oversee that host at a national level. And then he also has even another, we call them SDM, same thing. It's called Sales Development Managers. These are local managers that actually are close to Ohio, where KHM is. Now, Walter, where are you located? I'm
in Orlando, actually.
See, and I'm in Florida too. So
see, we should have just gotten together.
Yeah, we could have done this on the same camera. I'm in the southeast, in Wellington, next to West Palm Beach. So beautiful area down there too. But we have a local support rep. It's a fantastic team. And what pretty much Walter does is I'm here to help educate, support in any way possible to help really spread awareness and hopefully build inquiries over these times together, so that Walter can sell something that's a true trip of a lifetime close to home. And I'm there to make sure that everyone who goes has the best time possible.
See, there we go. All right, Jeff, take it away. Let's learn about the Rocky Mountaineer. And folks, again, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We'll take breaks every so often.
Yeah, no such thing as a bad question whatsoever. If you're not familiar, honestly, this is a very unique experience close to home, as I just mentioned that before. We are a train and tour operator. We've been doing this now for 34 years. Next year, we're talking like 26 days from now, it will be 35 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
It is an incredible, truly amazing experience where it's you never sleep on board. That's a big thing I want to kind of stress. Never sleep on board, because
you don't sleep on board the train.
You just don't, unless you drink too much, and then it'll be one of the most expensive naps of your life. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. We handle everything for you. Sorry.
I said interesting. You don't sleep on the train. Okay,
Daylight only.
There's something new right there.
Right there. No, because when you're sleeping on board, it's missing the stuff happening at night. Also, most accommodations aren't as plush and as nice as you romanticize about it if you've never been on board a train. Maybe some of you travel on Amtrak or Via Rail, or perhaps even some of the more luxury experiences like Orient and such in other different countries. But sleeping sometimes in a bunk bed, sharing a toilet, paid food along the way and stuff. It's not it's not your cruise line type of experience that perhaps most of your guests are loving. And so we really fit quite well with that demographic of the cruisers, or the river cruisers, of those who want everything pretty much combined and put together into one price, all inclusive. That's the best word for it. We handle all the hotels out of your entire experience, ranging from 3-star properties to 5-star properties. So you can work with your own personal budget. You can upgrade here, downgrade here. For example, places like Vancouver or Calgary, these are 2 large cities. You'll see a map in a little bit. All the hotels are well located. I think going up a Hyatt, a Sheraton, a Marriott, and then upgrading in the places like the Banff, the Lake Louisa, Jasper. These are places in the Canadian Rockies where you can upgrade to a Fairmont, a Rimrock, or something just spectacular, because it's going to be memorable. And when's the last time you're ever going to go back to Banff? So you got to go all big or go home. And so you can make some Do what makes sense for your budget. Handle the tours, the transfers, the sightseeing, included private guided tours if that's how you want to go. If you want to go with other friends or family, easily customized and put together for you. Everything on the train is all inclusive, including alcohol, non-alcoholic, food cooked, made to order a few feet away from where you're sitting. We're gonna get into the weeds of details when we get
Yes, we're gonna get to food. All right.
Small overview. What we don't handle.
He's gonna make us wait for the food. So just hold tight.
Yeah. What we don't handle, just to be transparent, candid with you all, is airfare, insurance, and some meals off the train. There are some tours, some itineraries that do include breakfasts or dinners and such like that, but it's a case-by-case basis. And so I have a quick little video that I would love to share with your viewers that intros you into the world of the Canadian Rockies with Rocky Mountaineer. It's only a minute and 10 seconds long, so I hope you're all going to be blown away by what you're about to see.
All right. Wow, those destinations are just out there, and there's really no other way to see a lot of what you're showing us than to go by rail. That's amazing.
Yeah. Honestly, and if you think the video's in slow-mo, it's not. Our average train speed is only 30 miles an hour, and we slow down to less than 5 miles an hour for the bridges, the waterfalls, the wildlife, the wilderness. So pretty much what you're seeing there is the speed that we're pretty much going at. It's not, edited, to make it look. Of course, some of it is edited. I'm not going to lie, but it's really slow.
That's beautifully done.
Really slow. And
that is
now you look on your screen, you can see the map of where we're located. So places that I was just mentioning before, you may have not been familiar with, like places like Jasper, Lake Louise, and Banff. Those are in the Canadian Rockies. I would say the cream of the crop, the best places to visit and experience at one point in your life, because it is so close to home and it is so breathtakingly beautiful. And there's a green dotted line you see between those places. That's the Columbia Icefield Parkway, been voted one of the most scenic highways in the world, riddled with lakes, waterfalls, canyons, glaciers, incredible sights to see, to say the least. Now, we notice these different lines going all over the screen here, just to make sense of it all. These are our train routes. And so we have 3 different train routes in the Canadian Rockies, all traveling either eastbound, westbound, or round trip. And we operate up here between mid-April and mid-October every single year.
Wow.
And if you were to ask me, not you did, but what direction would you recommend going? I would definitely say start in Vancouver, head eastbound, because when you head that direction, the hills become mountains, the mountains become glaciers, the wildlife gets so much more amazing. The best is yet to come. Beautiful Canadian Rockies.
Wow.
And so and just to tie it in with some of your viewers, what you like, and I see some of the questions coming up, like what are the itineraries, etc. I promise you, we're going to go into the deep dive into that a little bit later. And for those who like cruising, pre and post cruise tour options. I would say about 40% of our guests on board have a pre or post cruise tour attachment. Many have done Alaska already. They want to get back up to Alaska cruise, do some more unique shore excursions, maybe another port of call that they missed the last time. But this would be a fantastic way to start or end your Alaska cruise.
Yes.
And cap it off, honestly, especially if you are a fan of I would have to say it, luxury. It's a luxury, fine dining. It's an incredible unique experience. It is, because
it's trains.
Yeah, and customizable. So if you can't afford 5 stars every night, don't do it one night, or do 3 to 4 star, and you will be blown away by the beauty that this world has to offer. And it's really close to where most of you hopefully reside, which is quite nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow.
So let me see some of these questions because I've seen some great ones come through.
Sure.
Loved it. 5 cruises, best thing. How does it work with Rocky Mountaineer? So kind of shared it to that, and you'll see as you continue to kind of go through it. Yes, Eric had a great question. I was kind of reading that real quick. So it's very customizable. There's these little dark dots and white dots. The white diamonds, such as Whistler, Kamloops, and Quesnel, those are one night only locations. And if you're thinking, well, I don't want to mess with my luggage, we try to make this very seamless and enjoyable for everyone. So you don't we don't want you to burn any calories. What we'll do is take your luggage from you and put it on a truck. The only thing to bring on the train with you is your camera, camcorder, wallet, cell phone, purse, ID, medication. Keep it light, keep it simple. When you get to places like these, Whistler, Kamloops, or Quesnel, before you even get off the train, you've already been checked into the hotel. We give you a hotel room key. Then you take a short ride over to your hotel, find your room, and inside your room, your luggage will be waiting for you next to your bed.
Oh, nice.
In order to minimize the calories of burning, we ask you to leave your luggage exactly how you found it next to your bed. You see the next destination, a true seamless transition.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yes.
That is so cool. I like that.
And then if you're noticing, if you're thinking like, well, I don't know which route to take, not only do you have Walter in your back pocket to utilize because he is a source of expertise when it comes to traveling the world. And I promise you, if you stump him, I'm in his back pocket, so he can't get stumped too bad. But know that he has these fantastic 1 to 2 minute videos on all of our routes. You saw one of the videos. It was right before we came on live. It was our first passage to the West video, which is that red route at the bottom between Vancouver, Kamloops, and Lake Louise and Banff, our most popular route. We have other videos on our journey through the clouds. That's the blue route taking you to Jasper. The Rainforest Gold Rush route doing 2 stops in Whistler and Quesnel, and then into Jasper. And then we have other videos on the train cars. I'll show a couple more later in this presentation, as well as the places itself, the destinations like Vancouver, Jasper, Lake Louise. So if you want a little idea of the highlights or what's there to see in these places or which route to take, all you gotta do is reach out to Walter, and he's going to give you all the tools and resources, information you need to put together a trip of a lifetime and be happy.
Yeah. I'm going to do my very best, and like Jeff said, I've got him, and I've got a whole team of folks over there at the Rocky Mountaineer that can truly help. Because look, we don't know everything, and that's why we have people like Jeff, and that's why we have his amazing team over at the Rocky Mountaineer to help us put together an amazing vacation.
It's a one team, one dream approach. Now, Alex had a fantastic question about, I noticed many of the routes are going to a major city and then into a smaller city. His simple was, how do you get back to the major cities? Well, really the airports, which you can kind of see if you make the screen a little bit bigger. And of course, if your screen is a much larger than a 10-inch laptop, which this is like font 2 to me, but that's okay. There are like a little yellow square. Those are the airport icons. You got Vancouver, and Edmonton. So I highly recommend between Vancouver and Calgary. The train will go as far as Banff. There'll be motor coach experiences, and we'll get into that in this presentation of what the motor coach experience is like, even pictures of the motor coach, so you'll see exactly what they look like, and the depths into that as we go through this presentation. But those are the airports that are flight in and out of.
Gotcha.
So, yes, definitely.
Nice.
All right, so now let's switch to the U.S. Let's head down south. I'm going to first share the map of where we're located here. In fact, actually, that would be better before we even do that. Let's do it by video. Do you mind playing that video? And then we'll go into the map, and that's going to be a great.
So you want? Oh, yes. I have another video, Rockies to the Red Rock. So folks, just about 2.5 minutes. Enjoy the Rockies to the Red Rock.
As you drift away from the lively city of Denver, the sun wakes the Colorado Rockies, and you begin your journey through landscapes that have been transformed over millennia. And it feels as though it was all created just for you. Roaming through breathtaking plains, you reach an engineering marvel known as the Big Ten Curve. Relax in comfort as you cut through 6 miles of hand-blasted rock in the historic Moffat Tunnel, where you cross the Continental Divide. Take in majestic canyons, slowly carved away by the Colorado River on its long march to the Pacific Ocean. As you travel along tracks stitched into towering red canyons, indulge in world-class service from our glass dome coaches. Wind along endless, captivating canyon walls before arriving at the historic town of Glenwood Springs, famous for its geothermal amenities. Begin your day exploring the monumental Tibet Canyon, part of Grand Mesa, the world's largest flat-top mountain. Then witness the glory of Mount Garfield. Standing proudly at over 6,700 feet, it's sure to be a high point. The surreal beauty of the crimson-stained cliffs surrounds you, displaying millions of years of erosion as you cross Ruby Canyon. Finally, you approach Moab, as the red sandstone mountains that the American Southwest is so famous for come into view. This is your gateway to the mighty 5 national parks. From the Rockies to the Red Rocks, this ever-changing journey captures the unimaginable majesty of this unique place that's been 1,000,000 years in the making.
Wow, that is just unbelievable how beautiful that that landscape is. I mean, wow. And again, you can't see much of this unless you're on a train. Wow.
Totally accurate. Yeah, that's a fantastic point, Walter. And I thought that would be a great interlude into this route because it really takes you from Denver into Moab and showing you some of the highlights along the way, similar to the other videos I was referencing just a second ago about in the Canadian Rockies. And so we have videos just like that of all of our routes. So when you're curious which route is best for me, check out those highlight videos from Walter. He'll be sure to give you everything. And the cool thing about this little time of the video allowed me to read all the questions that are coming through. And we definitely have several that have come through. I just wanted to kind of reference some of these real quick. Alex had another great question about, do trains get first priority or do they have to share the tracks and allow others like freight to pass by? So looking at the Canadian Rockies, for the majority of the time, and I don't want to overpromise, underdeliver, but we do have priority over the majority of the trains out there. When there's a train that is on the same tracks as us coming at us and it is too big to fit in the off the siding, then we have to, because it's either them or us, and if they can't fit in the siding and let us go, then it's going to be a mess. So for bigger freight, and the majority of the freight is quite larger than ours, a lot of times the sidings aren't built to hold some of these freight trains that are carrying over 100 train cars. We do have to pull over for them, and I'm just being honest. But for those who are under, we do have the bypass. I will say that the majority of our routes that are travel eastbound are relatively boarding around 8, 9 in the morning and arriving between 5 and 6:30 p.m. And so when you're going westbound, the other direction towards Vancouver, those tend to be a little bit longer days because there is a train depot, like a train, I don't know what you call it, a congested area, an hour outside of Vancouver. And if we don't time it right, sometimes we're sitting there for an hour or two. And so that can definitely be. But the cool thing is when you're on board a train with chefs on board cooking incredible food, you never get hungry. You never get thirsty. They'll make dinner for you. They
just take your time. We're having drinks and food, whatever.
We'll once again dive into those details when we get to the train experience of what it's like on board the train car itself. So it's not like the worst case scenario because you're boarding between 8, 9 and arriving same distance, arriving between 6 and 7 p.m. just to be quite honest. So I'm trying to be fair, but it's a daylight only train. We do try to definitely travel and arrive before the nighttime happens. And then finally another question from who was Deb? It was Deb, yes, who was asking about the can you link the routes together and such. That'll be really better explained when we talk about the itineraries itself coming up later in the presentation. You'll see exactly how you can link these routes together and make it a round trip or circle journey that will hopefully make perfect sense when we get to that. So, and for the U.S. route, would you recommend going east to west, west to east? Alex is all over this. He's got some great questions, and I love that. So
Alex is all over every one of our shows. He's an amazing traveler.
I really appreciate that, because if he doesn't ask it, no one's going to ask it. And so thank you, Alex. So I've gone both different directions here. And the reason why I recommend going eastbound, starting in, say, Vegas and heading east, is for several different reasons. One, when you go from the Glenwood Springs, that white dot in the middle, that's a beautiful area. Doc Holliday has a fantastic bar there. It's known for its hot springs, as you saw in the video right there. And you're traveling westbound. So you're going the direction I don't recommend. You board the train at 7 in the morning. You have breakfast on board, arrive in Moab around 12 noon. If you're going the direction I like, you board at 2 p.m. in Moab, and you have dinner on board, arriving in Glenwood Springs between 6 and 7. Now, I think dinner on board is better than breakfast, and I like more than anything. That's my reasoning of why I like going.
I like it.
Now, the time between Glenwood Springs and Denver is the exact same both directions. You board at around between 8 and 9 in the morning and arrive between 5 and 6 p.m. And I will tell you, on this track, for when it comes to delays, little to none. In fact, in the past, we started operating this in 2021 in the heart of COVID. And it was mainly because Colorado and Utah would love to have tourism money coming in that they were never expecting to help, during COVID when everything was shut down.
Right.
We were one of the first ever companies to launch a brand new route in the middle of COVID. And so it really took off quite well, especially being something in the country people could go. And we've been averaging about a 10 to 12% growth year over year, which has been quite exciting. And awesome. Moab itself was a small town. It is growing exponentially, I should say. We used to have no Ubers. It's now got like 3 or 4 Ubers. It's got several taxis. It's got motor coaches up the
awesome.
With the amount of tourism that we're bringing to that town. There's new restaurants, new hotels. Anyway, but
awesome.
There's only one other train that we share these tracks with, just to be honest with you, pretty much. It's Amtrak. And they are trying to get from point A to point B a lot faster than us. So we honestly let them fly by us, going about 50, 60 miles an hour. And we like to go nice and slow, gingerly, through some breathtaking vistas and beautiful scenery and sights along this entire beautiful mighty Colorado River, because that's what it follows the majority of the time. This route here operates between mid-April and end of October. And just to reference, Canadian Rockies goes to mid-October. They both start in mid-April, Canada mid-October, U.S. end of October. And the green lines are different touring opportunities as we head to Vegas or Salt Lake City. Now, this is also a place where I'd love to share with our viewers and listeners out there that Rocky Mountaineer is still a company that is looking at growing. We just started this new route in 2021. We're going to be making some very exciting announcements in Q1 of next year. So around March, just to be quite honest with you all. So Walter, I'm sure you're going to be hearing a lot about this, but in March of next year, we'll be announcing some new updates to the Red Rocks route. So I could say it's going to be some new train routes coming, which is quite exciting. So that's all going to be starting in 2026, connecting into this route. I can't share, I apologize, what I know.
That's fine. You can tease, and then we'll have to bring you back.
Exactly. I would be more than happy to come back and go on a deep dive on what's new and what's coming up, because our goal for this whole new thing is no one does what we do in the country, in North America. The trains that are out here are commuter trains. They're also trains that you sleep on board, and we are not that whatsoever. Never sleeping on board. Like I said before, we're trying to get you the most beautiful, breathtaking places. This takes you into Moab, and then you can see Arches, Canyonlands, Dead Horse Point, where Thelma and Louise went off the cliff. You get into Bryce and Zion, and Coral Sea Reef National Park, and some incredible other national parks all throughout Utah. And our goal is to continue to connect our train to the majority of the national parks throughout the U.S. as well as Napa Wine Valley. A lot of growth to come over the near future, which is very exciting for our company, to say the least.
Awesome. And I love Betty. Betty's like, we need to get a group together. Betty is like my cheerleader for the group. She's like, we always got to get a group. I love you, Betty. Yes. You never know.
I know.
By the way, do you guys support groups? And since she asked the question, do you support like small groups coming on?
100%. So we do have small groups for 2025 as well as large groups. I want to say the small groups are around like that's 10 to 12 guests, and I can confirm with you later on. I don't want to say something that I'm wrong, and then the regular size groups are 20 guests. And the benefits of a group is no deposit due until much later closer to traveling, which is a fantastic,
Yeah.
no risk kind of situation, but also,
Sure.
you don't have to put any money up front, which is quite nice. And there are some extra benefits of a group, such as, having meals included, having private transfers,
Cool.
private tours for the entire group, which we can definitely talk about.
Nice.
A lot more little details and such like that.
Nice.
So definitely 100% groups are very
Wow.
doable and easy to do with us, and
Love it.
very exclusive
Love it.
and unique, which is
Okay.
quite nice. All right, moving
Awesome.
on. For now, I
Moving
would
on.
love to share with you all details about our train cars itself, because I've been alluding to it, talking here, there, what it's all about on there. I'm going to fly past this quick video because you saw it. Silverleaf is our single-story cars. These are predominantly in the U.S., and that's because there's over 30 tunnels on that U.S. route that don't have the height of a Gold Leaf car, which is a 2-story bi-level coach dome. So
Gotcha.
Silverleaf, single-story, panoramic views with an arch window at the top. You have a small outdoor vestibule area on all of these train cars that holds around 4 to 6 people comfortably. So you can go outside anytime you like and soak in the scenery that passes by at such a slow speed. The food here is delivered to your seat. You're looking at 1 to 2 appetizer options, 2 to 3 entree options, and a dessert option change daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, depending on the different routes you're on, because some do dinner, some do breakfast, I was just kind of going through an example second ago. All the alcohol is included. And what we try to do is pair local wines, local liqueur, even local beer, depending where the train is located. Which is nice. So it's all changing by the day, which is quite enjoyable for our guests on board. I'm not able to drink, but I hear it's delicious on the train.
Okay.
And then when it comes to our hosts and hostesses, these people you barely get to see on the screen right here, they're handling all the storytelling. They're going to tell jokes. They're going to keep you entertained, aware of everything coming up ahead. It's incredible what they do. In fact, just to kind of pause on the amount of service that these guys provide, our NPS, which is Net Promoter Scores, or GES, Guest Experience Surveys, are averaging for our staff on board and the experience on board the train in the mid-90s, 95, 96% for the 2024 season. That means the majority of people on board, and over 50% of the people have done the surveys, gave a 10 out of 10 on this.
Wow.
And when it comes to retention of bringing anyone to work a seasonal job at crazy hours and be away from home for months at a time, not months, I should say that, but weeks at a time. Then, similar to the cruise lines, it's a unique species. These people from Philippines, Indonesia as well. The people on board these trains here are from either Canada or U.S. There's some Australians. We have a couple Japanese, but it's not like the Filipinos or Indonesians or anything like that. We pay them extremely well. They're very well educated, very well sourced. They stay with us. Retention is at around a 93 to 94%. We had one team member in the U.S. train this year. They joined the outside sales team, still within the company, but this allows us to focus on really the storytelling and the service, and that is what really has made Rocky Mountaineer an incredible, enjoyable experience on board the train. We go above and beyond for every single person, and just those NPS and GES scores and the retention shows it of how these people stay with us for so long. It really is.
Yeah. Alex is loving the leg room in that picture.
No, and it's true. Everyone has massive leg room. This is once again Silverleaf. So this is the lower class. This is the best it gets for the U.S. We do have another Silverleaf Plus that I'll share with you video, but you can see how the food's delivered at your seat. You're talking salmon and steak and so much incredible food to choose from on a daily basis. So never hungry, never full. Now, I shared it. Silverleaf Plus is only available in the U.S. And this is a small upgrade fee per person, but what you'll have is your Silverleaf car, which I've just been talking about, and this 2 lounge cars. These lounge cars are outfitted with tons of extra seating, bars with bartenders crafting signature alcoholic beverages, more variety of food options, more outdoor veranda spaces. There's even a piano with a pianist playing. It speaks luxury, and honestly, this is a $4.99 per person upgrade, but it enhances your experience tenfold. You have 3 train cars to access anytime you like once on board the train, and it just adds a lot more value to everything. It really is a fantastic space to take advantage of, and it is a first come first serve. This does sell out because we only have 2 of them right now. We are building more. We hope to have some more launching in 2026. They definitely sell out throughout the seasons, and we'll talk about best times to go in a little bit. So stay tuned.
And I love that we're talking about luxury, but you see how just relaxed and casual everybody is in that picture. So it's relaxed casual.
Yes, 100%. There's no dress up nights or anything like that. We want you to be comfortable.
Love
the
it.
people who have to dress up, the people who are working, to be honest with you. Everyone else is winning.
That's
so
funny.
Here's a quick little video going in depth on the Silverleaf Plus so you can see exactly what it's like. So if you play that for me, that'd be great.
Let's see. That's the Rocky. I got Red Rocks to the Rockies to the Red Rocks.
It's the minute-long one, the one after the 2-minute
You
one.
got it.
Thank you. There you go.
Really, really nice. Wow.
So now we're going to take a quick trip back north to Canada because that's where Gold Leaf lives. Gold Leaf is not available in the U.S., only available in Canada, and it is honestly the top, the best of the best. Bi-level coach dome, 360-degree dome windows on the top level. And downstairs, you have a full dining area. So those picture windows underneath the word Mountaineer is where you'll be dining for all of your meals on board. And underneath the word Rocky, where there are no windows, that is your kitchen, where all the chefs are cooking made-to-order food. You're sitting exactly how you like. You can see the outdoor veranda space holding easily 3 to 4 times size larger than what you have on Silverleaf. Comfortably 15 people. We can get up to 20 people out there very easily. Upstairs, you have, instead of 3 hosts as the Silverleaf has, you have 4 hosts. So an extra little person to come up there and do more storytelling and just be more at service for everyone on board. And you can see with the 360 dome windows, that really allows you to take advantage of incredible glaciers, the eagles flying by and everything. It's quite perfect. The exclusive dining rooms have tables that fit 4 as well as 2. And we split everyone up in first and second seatings. And on the first day, if you're on the first seating, then the next day you'll be on the second seating. And just remember, those who are on the second seating, meaning you're not eating in the main dining room first, you're going to actually eat more food and drink more than the people who are in the first dining, because while they're downstairs eating their first breakfast of the day and such, we give you scones and coffee and tea, and for later in the day, cheese, crackers, wine. There's tons of snacks and smaller kind of like, if you will, little things to munch on. So you're once again, not starving by any means at any time. And then you're going to eat just more is what it comes down to. But the variety of food is vast compared to Silverleaf. You're looking at 2 to 3 appetizer options, 5 to 6 entree options, multiple dessert options that change daily for your meals on board, cooked by incredible chefs. Once again, a few feet away from where you're sitting, made to order. And the food is definitely fine dining. It's hard to say when it's fine dining and it really isn't. This is true fine dining. So it's quite something. A fantastic picture of the outdoor viewing platform. Your speakers out, you hear the commentary of what's being offered inside, so you're not missing anything. It really allows you to just soak in that scenery and be outside in one with nature. And at the speed you're going at, it's enjoyable. You're not flying by. You're really able to.
You can actually go out and stand there and not be blown off.
Exactly. The suspensions on these train cars are millions of dollars. So for those who have like vertigo or issues of motion sickness, I've taken many people who've had those types of conditions. Now everyone is different. So if you have something very extreme, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying it's not going to affect you. Be prepared just in case. Bring, once again, some things to help. But for the majority of people who I've talked to who get motion sickness in the backseat of a car, they go on the train here. Perfect. And once again, you can go outside anytime you want, get that breath of fresh air. And that really helps a lot of people. And just, it's a fantastic, the slow and how it's really There's no seat belts or anything else like that. So how long are the itineraries and what's the cost? Promise we're getting to that. I'm just seeing questions coming through. I'm a Gold Leaf on Red Rocks route. So we don't offer that was a great question by Stan. He just because there's tunnels that don't allow the height of our Gold Leaf car. So we honestly we can't do it.
So yours are probably higher than the Silverliners is what you're saying.
Yes, Silverleaf is much lower than the Gold Leaf. Gold Leaf is almost like 2 of the Silverleaf cars, so it's a much higher car, and the tunnels don't allow the height. It's really one major tunnel that it was in the video we just saw. It goes to the Continental Divide, Summit Tunnel, whatever tunnel it was. That tunnel goes through about 15-20 minutes of pitch black darkness, and it's through an area that it's really. They tried expanding for us. We looked at expanding. They couldn't do it. We looked at lowering our suspension to bring Gold Leaf. Now we are talking about, as we continue to expand in the U.S., that we will bring more engines and train cars down and hopefully one day have Gold Leaf in the U.S.
Nice.
We're just not there yet because the train tracks we have right now are in these tunnels areas, which make it a mess. So
gotcha.
That's the whole.
All right. Great question, Stan. Thank you.
Yeah. Another question just came in real quick from Alex. And once again, Deb and Eric, those are asking about the itineraries. I promise we're going to get to them. So just hang out tight. But Alex here at the end, he did just ask, how's the solo experience? It varies similar to what the cruise lines do, where it's a 20 to 25% upcharge. It's mainly the hotels that are charging it. And the cool thing about being a solo traveler with us is that you're not going to have someone on the seat next to you. You'll have that seat open, which is very convenient for those solo travelers. But this also works to your advantage where we're not trying to play matchmaker, but a lot of times we try to put other solo travelers next to other solo travelers in the front or next to you or behind you. That way, when it comes to eating your meals, you're not having to try to sit with a couple or a family. You're able to talk to other people around you who also are in individual rows of 2, and then you're out like, and once again, not playing matchmaker. A lot of times it's all the same sex. So it's about a commonality. Solo traveling has become big. We're never going to charge twice or 200% of what the thing is. It's usually between, I would say 15, 20, most 25%. That's for premium time with, the most sought after time. So great question, Alex.
That's great. That's great. And I love the fact that they get the seat next to them. That's kind of cool.
Yes, it is. It is. Now, when to travel? When we're looking at the Canadian Rockies, which is this more focused on right here, we once again mid-April to mid-October. There are pluses to every time of the season, but my favorite would be mid-May to mid-June, and it's for 5 reasons. 5. First, the weather, mid-60s in the day, mid-70s sometimes if you're lucky, especially in June, definitely mid-70s, and chances of rain are slim to none. If you go before mid-May, chances of rain are much stronger. And I think rain is kind of a downer. So I like mid-May to weather. Second reason, more wildlife to be seen, especially those bear sightings. A lot more bears to be found during the springtime over any other time in the year. Third reason would be hotels. Usually $1,000 to $2,000 per couple cheaper going at this time. After mid-June, the price goes crazy. Fourth reason, less crowds, less traffic, less congestion, less people overall, which is quite nice. The fifth, the best reason, chances of a forest fire are slim to none. And that is not going to interfere your trip in any way, and pretty much everything you're looking for is going to happen. So the other time that I do love is September. First, to talk about summer. We're not trying to just ignore summer, but between June all the way through August, it's the summer months. Everything's lush green. Everything's in bloom. It's not surprising to go for a month or two without seeing a single drop of rain. Very dry. And so it's definitely a fantastic time to go when you don't have to worry about weather whatsoever, and beautiful weather. But yeah, I said it twice, but you know what I mean. And then the fall, September, end of August, September, and the beginning of October, all about the fall foliage. And if you want to bet on it, I recommend going, if your fall foliage is your number one reason to go, then mid-September. I would say when I started 10 years ago, it was end of August. We started to see leaves change. Fast forward to today, and I do this trip about 1 to 2 times a year. So it's pretty relative when I'm able to get up there and I can see how the seasons are kind of changing. I see the seasons are more moving forward. And so for example, the leaves aren't really changing colors. Maybe they start to at the end of August, but it's more the tops of the mountains. By the time it leaves to the bottom where the trains are, it's mid-September. So if you want the full color, like the vibrant colors lighting up the sides of the mountains, I highly recommend mid-September through September, and you're going to be rewarded at this time of the year. Now, of course, who knows what's going to happen in the future, but just, don't watch this in 10 years and say, he told me.
You never know. I mean, you just never know. And one of the things that I love, and the time frame that you described are kind of the peak time frames that we recommend for Alaska. So it's kind of similar. And the things that I love about the spring is you tend to see more babies, like the baby grizzlies, the baby moose, the baby whatever. You tend to see a lot more babies in the spring.
That's very true. Very, very true. Now we're looking at the U.S. route and times of the year, mid-April to end of October. Really April, May, even beginning of June. It's fantastic, beautiful springtime. You do get a lot more wildlife at this time, less crowds, less people, very similar to what you have in Canada. Summer, just be honest with you, it's a desert. It's freaking hot. So it's not crowded. Honestly,
it's freaking hot, says Jeff. I love it.
I'd be just being real, but it's a desert, so dress accordingly, meaning like wear shorts and that's it. But it really, really is hot. And then in the fall would be when it's probably our busiest season by far. We're talking end of August through end of October. Yeah, we do sell out of our Silverleaf Plus almost every single trip from then on all the way to the end of the season. And we definitely have a majority of our guests traveling in the U.S. at that time. And that's when you get sometimes the snow falling in Colorado, but yet it's still sunny and beautiful in the desert in Utah. And going through the tunnel it's Muffet Tunnel. I said something else before, but it's the Muffet Tunnel. And I've had this before to me. I was traveling in mid-October. I was traveling eastbound. We were coming from Utah where it was 75, 76 degrees, sunny, beautiful. We go through the Muffet Tunnel, 15 minutes of pitch black darkness, come out, and it's snowing, and the trees are all lit with white snow.
Oh, wow.
And talk about
almost like a snow globe effect, right?
Exactly. And people were blown away. I mean, and I'm not lying and exaggerating. It was literally night and day difference, except being the same day. It was just, I couldn't believe how incredible that was. And that was mid-October. But I will say that the snow definitely does start to fall in Denver, especially in the mountains and such around I would say the beginning of October, if not the end of September. So, it definitely starts to get beautiful there. And it's just a very beautiful time to travel in our own country itself out there. So I'd recommend spring or fall. I'm from Florida. I'm totally cool with the heat. My blood is thin enough, but I just think those are more enjoyable times, just to be honest.
Nice. Yeah. Sounds great.
You mentioned this before. You're looking for brown, black, grizzly bears, moose, elk, deer, coyotes, bighorn sheep, bald eagles, all to be found, all to be seen. I have in the middle, you'll see, this is my own video because it's not great. You'll see how the editing is just me all over the place. But this is on the train. We're going about 2 miles an hour. This is in between Lake Louise and Banff. And notice that's not a polar bear because they don't exist in that area. Even though if I had this video not muted, you'll hear me say, that's a freaking polar bear. It's not. But that is a white grizzly bear. 1 in a million chances to see a grizzly bear. The picture on the top right is that same white grizzly bear, but now with bear cubs. And it looks like labor made the white hair turn a little bit gray because we all know what labor is. And the white grizzly bear actually has 2 bear cubs. I know it's hard to see, but there's another bear under its legs in the middle, and then you got the one behind it.
Yeah.
So, and another thing I want you to mention when you're looking at this is that you see the train tracks right there. Unlike highways and roads where there are barriers and fences keeping animals off the roads, there's no barriers or fences on these train tracks. And the majority of the freight that are on these tracks are carrying produce, grain, wheat, and barley. And so the animals you see, especially the bears, love to be fed. And they're And they know that when they want an easy, quick meal, especially waking up out of their slumber of sleep in the winter, and they come down from the mountains, they know it's usually a feast along the train tracks with grain and wheat and things that are falling from these freight cars. It can turn into a train safari in the spring. And it really is quite incredible to see the wildlife so close to the tracks. And our trains are communicating with the trains. So they'll tell us when there's other wildlife on the tracks or next to the tracks. And so we know where these wildlife are kind of being because we're patient. We also, if we have sighting, like, bear on the left, bear on the right, it's shared between the whole entire train. So people know where to look. You'll see the whole train move and shift all the way through. We won't do that. But it really is quite something to see this wildlife up close and
That's
personal.
cool.
I've been on the outdoor veranda space of a gold leaf car going past a grizzly bear where I could reach out and pet it. I didn't.
Oh,
A wild, but
Wow.
literally like that close where you're just
Wow.
creeping in, and it's just
I think that might freak me out a little.
it's amazing how big these animals are, because you on the train you're already up super high, and you can literally, like, the bear is big enough where you can pet its back and you're already feel
my
like super high from the
God.
ground. I mean, it's just until you're there doing it, you'll get it.
Wow.
So
That's
quite something.
crazy. Wow.
Now, wildlife in the U.S., a lot of wild
Nice.
horses to be seen, pronghorn deer, lots of birds. If you're into birding, a lot of different beautiful birds throughout this whole entire area. But the one animal, it's really a mammal, that people get the most photographs of. Now,
Mhm.
I understand there may be families, so I'm trying to be very cautious how I say this. We follow the mighty Colorado River, and on that, there's a lot of rafters, and rafters love to share the moons, if you know what I'm saying. So lots of different
Gotcha.
types of moons, big, small, you name it, and I'm talking hundreds. It's just crazy the amount
Wow.
of just moons that you
Of
see.
fun. Amount of fun that's happening.
It's become quite popular. I'm
Wow.
telling you, and since we've been doing it, it's been a thing where it's expected. Like, we just know it's going to happen.
Awesome.
So
It's awesome.
yeah. But anyway, that's the most photographed mammal that they have on there.
Wow.
Going
Wow.
over to the motor coaches.
Oh,
we use.
cool.
Looking at specifically in Canada, we are partnered with Brewster. All the Brewster motor coaches were refurbished during COVID, which is a great time to refurbish them. So we're talking perfect seats, leather, TVs throughout the entire coach, so you can see what the driver's seeing up ahead. Drink stations on board to stay well hydrated. A restroom, because when you drink too much, you know what you got to do. Of course, a tour guide on all of our coaches. Some tour guides double as the driver itself, who's mic'd up, and others are a individual on top of the driver, or next to the driver, giving full commentary of what's coming up ahead, what's outside the window, answering any questions you have. But these are all guided tours, and you can also do private tours, sedans, minibuses, vans, you name it. There's all different ways to customize this to work with your budget. And if you want to do a private thing, you want to rent a car, you can do that. It's totally up to you to work with what makes sense for you and how you want to do it with the budget that works best for you, which is quite ideal. We had a great Brewster tour. This is from Jen. A great Brewster tour guide in Banff a couple of years ago. Yeah, I mean, these guys are so well versed and educated. You could point at a tree and they'll tell you like all details about the rock. It's amazing how educated these guys are, because they can never be stumped. I haven't heard anyone say, "I don't know." I try them to do that, but no, definitely. Awesome. And then when it comes to the tours, there's so much different unique touring options that we have. The majority of our tours are built into the packages. And so if you don't want to do it, like for example, you're scared of heights and don't want to do the gondola, you would just let Walter know and they can take that out of the package and you'll see the price point drop. So you can customize, mix and match tours, add-on tours, take away tours. But when these tours are built into the package, the majority of them are taking place between taking you from point A to point B, or from point B to point C. So for example, from Jasper down to Lake Louise, that is the Columbia Icefield Parkway. And that in the middle has the Ice Explorer. Mammoth Monster takes on to Athabasca Glacier where you can go play in the snow.
That's the one I want to do.
Yeah, glacial skywalk.
Big toys. I like big toys.
That's a big truck too. There's a glacial skywalk on this route as well. You go on this glass, bridge. Look down, get scared, but an incredible, beautiful ravine with glaciers all around you. You have boat tours, gondola tours, and in the U.S., of course, from different touring into Arches, Canyonlands, Dead Horse Point, Bryce, Zion, you name it, with guided tours. You can also, if you're more active, you can book tours outside of Rocky Mountaineer. Once again, work with Walter. You can put together whitewater rafting, Jeep tours, things like that for those who perhaps don't want the motor coach, or want to do things more unique and different. Once again, it's all very easy to be set up and handled. We try to have at least 2 nights minimum in these places like Moab or Banff or Lake Louise or Jasper. If you just do 1 night, you're checking the evening and checking out first thing in the morning. Keeping 2 nights allows you to slow time down and enjoy where you are. And also that second day, we try to keep it a full day of leisure. But once again, if you want to add on more tours, do unique stuff, Walter's happy to put it on. He'll set you up, but lots of different options you can do to make it quite unique and enjoyable.
Yeah. And what I do love what you said, you're going to have a package put together. But then if we take something out, hey, guess what? The price dropped. We don't just still charge you for it just because.
Right.
No, I love that.
It's all customizable. Put in, put out. Do if you want to do hotels on your own, you want to use your miles on your hotels or points on your hotels. You don't have to book the hotels through us. Just let us know where you're staying so we can make sure your luggage is there and make sure that your motor coach picks you up from the right place. But
that's right. We want your luggage. We want that truck to know where it's going.
Exactly. But you can book hotels outside of Rocky Mountaineer. Walter will let you know which hotels we utilize so you can try to use one of ours. If not, you may have to walk a short distance or take an Uber to a hotel that's closest to yours that you're staying at to get on the shuttle and everything. But we really try to make it convenient. And I will tell you, we work with so many hotels. There's over, I think, 20 hotels we use in Vancouver. We almost use every hotel in Banff. There's only a couple hotels in Lake Louise. We pretty much stay with the Chateau Lake Louise, but have used the Post and such. I can go on. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Lots of fun. Now, this has been a question that's been asked several times. Here's someone. Alex asked a great question, too. I was
waiting for somebody to ask this question because you and I talked about this before the show, and I love the answer to this question.
So Wi-Fi, it's not given to the guests. It's available. It's there. It's mainly for emergency purposes, communication, weather, things like that. We really want you to break away from the internet, to say the least, and enjoy where you are on the train. Know that every single hotel, every place you go to in the evening when you get off the train has Wi-Fi. And so you'll be able to connect to the world and be in touch. Now, of course, if there's emergencies, case-by-case scenarios, you need something, you let the train people on board know. We will do whatever it takes to make sure that you're taken care of. You're able to communicate effectively. We have all of that built in, but we just don't offer it to everyone because it's by satellite. We're going to the wilderness. Now, if you take your regular cell phone, like I do, it works about 50% of the time. I'll be quite honest. We go through a lot of unique small town stuff, and I'll have full LTE service in the middle of nowhere for a good 30 minutes. And, you quickly ran through the stuff that you want to do.
But you don't want to be looking at your phone. You don't want to be looking at your tablet. I mean, my gosh, we've been watching these videos. You want to be looking out the window.
Yeah. So I say it because I understand how important internet is to some people where they can't live without it, but you will have it every single day. I'm not saying you're going to lose it for 24 hours or 48 hours. None of that. It's just a certain part of the day.
Yeah, no. And, even me as a travel agent, I need to be connected all the time. I will actually enjoy being able to tell people, I'll get in touch with you tonight when I get to the hotel. That's going to be really nice.
So I know this has been asked quite a bit. I want to go through some of the packages so you can see exactly how they're put together. The first passage to the west is our most popular route. It's usually 7 nights, 2 nights Lake Louise, 2 nights Banff. Oh, I'm hearing something.
There we go. Got it.
Okay. 2 nights Lake Louise, 2 nights Banff, eastbound, westbound. You fly in or out of Vancouver or Calgary. This would be a very popular package. If you're able to combine Jasper into it, thankfully Jasper will be reopening for the 2025 season. They're rebuilding all the homes that were destroyed and the businesses and such. Thankfully, the majority of the infrastructure that we use wasn't touched. We're very thankful. So very lucky off that. But you have a beautiful area surrounded by incredible lakes and waterfalls up here. Definitely something that we miss. And also the Columbia Icefield Parkway. It's been voted one of the most scenic highways in the world. It's not to be missed. So if you can stretch your trip to a little bit longer, this would be a way to do it. You have also other tours that we have, from the Pursuit of Discovery, getting into more unique lake tours and such, and waterfall discoveries and touring. The round trip, which was asked before, I believe.
Look at that.
Where you are able to go round trip Vancouver. This is the best of the best, check mark, where you're spending 6 nights in the Canadians. We also have another round trip that's 7 nights in the Canadian Rockies, 3 nights, 2 nights Lake Louise, 2 nights Jasper. You have 5 days on the train. This is the most train time, to say the least. Round trip Vancouver. Fantastic trip. This definitely does sell out every year, and if you have the time, this would be a trip of a lifetime. And there's more. This is just our
oh my God.
Looking at the U.S., simple eastbound, westbound, 2 nights Moab. There's an airport Moab you can fly in and out of. You can also get up to Salt Lake City or even Grand Junction, which is about 45 minutes away to fly out from there. Wow. The majority of our guests currently right now do the Rockies to Red Rocks at leisure. Now, this name is being changed, so I think we're going to call it the Mighty Five because it's a terrible name, leisure. But we're going to be hitting a majority of the national parks from Bryce. And you overnight in Bryce. Now, unlike Canada, where you have all these 5-star hotels, like Four Seasons, Rimrock, Fairmont, so forth. There's no five-star hotels in Moab. There are 3 to 4 star properties that we use. We don't go any way under 3-star. And when it comes to Bryce, there's only one hotel. That's a Best Western Plus. Better than a minus, but the plus doesn't add much. So the price point difference between Canada and US is like double or divided by 2. Wow. So just being, I'm not trying to promise anything, so you can't hold me to this. This is very average. Right. But in case, because some people ask about pricing, 6 nights, 7 days per couple, including everything except airfare, insurance, and a few meals off the train, you're looking at around, and this is in the U.S., you're looking around $5,000 to $6,000 per couple. Canada, per couple, same parameters, no airfare, no insurance, and some meals off the train. You are looking at around $10,000 to $12,000. So it's that double, and it's mainly due to demand, due to hotels like the Chateau Lake Louise, beautiful property in Lake Louise, the place we highly recommend staying. You can get a run-of-the-house room, and it's going to cost you just under $1,000 a night. A Lakeview room is averaging between $1,500 and $1,750 sometimes. It's just the demand is crazy. Whereas in Moab, the nicest hotel is the Hoodoos, operated by Hilton, part of the Curio collection. Fantastic hotel, great location, great food, great rooms. That's my number one choice in Moab. But it still is around $200 to $300 compared to $1,750. So the price point difference right there, where it just that's where I'm just candid transparency. I like that.
Okay.
And I understand we have about 2 minutes. This went so fast. Well, I just want to share. This is our second to last slide. Have you ever heard of a site called TripAdvisor? It's a place.
Yes. They're kind of up and coming at this point. Well, I hope they make it.
Where people spew hate and anger and negative feedback. A lot of hate. A lot of people who write in are not happy. And so the cool thing about TripAdvisor, we've been on there since TripAdvisor's been around. It's a 0.0 to 5.0 scale, 5 being the best. Rocky Mountaineer maintains a 4.5 or higher every single season. We have more awards and accolades than the Orient Express. National Geographic has given us best train trip that takes several years in a row now. All this means to you, I hope, is peace of mind. Will you travel with us this year's over, sorry. Travel with us in 2025, 2026. Know that we are going to do whatever it takes to make sure you really have a trip of a lifetime. You have Walter, please know, able to be available for you to help put this together for you. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Walter. We are a preferred partner. We work together, and I'm telling you that he is great at what he does. And so thank you enough for you allowing me to present this to your guests, your clients. And I really hope that everyone was able to get a lot. Oh, real quick, you want to show the bear, the last one, which you
wait, I missed the bear.
There we go. This is my goodbye. Thank
you. There he is. Aw, isn't that cute? Is that the bear that you were trying to high five?
Honestly, it could have been. It was that big.
Oh, that's cute. I love it. All right. Well, that was awesome. Folks, I hope you really enjoyed that. If you got any last minute questions, we'll definitely try to jump in. But, oh my gosh, that was a lot of fun, Jeff.
I can't believe it's already over. That went really, really fast. And I appreciate you all for sticking around and watching it live. For those of you watching another time that works best for you, thank you so much. And for any questions you have, this is a great time. If you're live, speak up. If not, once again, Walter knows how to reach me, and we can definitely answer anything you have on your mind. And I really hope this helped, think of something unique and different close to home for you guys to experience, even connecting it to your cruising. I mean, that's a very popular choice that people do.
I'm telling you, we've got a whole group going to Alaska in June on Oceana. Yeah, maybe somebody wants to tack on a little Rocky Mountaineer time.
I mean, talk about a fantastic pre or post. My personal opinion, post going eastbound, more climatic, but to each his own. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
I'm texting my wife right now, honey. We need to go on the Rocky Mountain. This has been a buck ever since I learned about you guys. I think I heard about the Rocky Mountaineer like 10 years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go. Folks, Jeff and I are talking, and I'm going to try to make it work. Who knows? Maybe next year, 2026. But I'm getting on the train. Jeff, I hope you're going to be with me, because I would love to have you as a tour guide. That's just
I would love to be there, definitely. No, I try to go at least once or twice a year. It's tough because I oversee a lot on my plate, but I love getting up there. And every time I go, and mind you, I've been doing this for over 10 years, I always see something new, something different, something that's just, and that's what's crazy. It's so amazing and beautiful up there. Princess has Rocky Mountaineer cruise tours a few years ago. It sounded dreamy. Yeah. It's true. I mean, we work with all the cruise lines. We partner with many different wholesalers and tour operators. You know, the only thing with going through a third party, I have to support them because I'm part of the company, and I don't want to say anything negative because I love them and they're great, but you can't customize anything. So understand, by going through them, what I recommend is compare apples to apples or apples to oranges. Right. You put one itinerary through the cruise line, for example, and then you put one perhaps going direct through Rocky Mountaineer, have Walter share both these with you, and then you can see exactly how they compare and contrast, because you are able to customize so much more by going direct. By going through a third party, it's pretty much, this is it. There's nothing we can do. The price makes sense. Is what you get. It
makes sense. You kind of put together a package for this third party. It's easier to sell it that way for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, whereas with you, it's just like, hey, what do you want to do? Let's make it happen.
Yes. So, and we have even some brand new cruise partners that we're bringing up next year too, which is quite exciting. So
cool. Yeah. Okay. So we got some talking to do at some point.
Yes. I'd love to. No, definitely. We are partnering with Oceania. You mentioned them, Oceania, Regent.
Yeah.
Fantastic partners of ours for now. I think it's been about 9 years. So
wow.
I actually started a partnership when I came into Rocky Mountaineer. So
that's awesome. Well, everybody, thank you so much for taking some time on a Thursday evening. And if you're watching us on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Walter, your independent travel agent with Where's Walter Travel. Rocky Mountaineer is one of our amazing travel partners. I'm going to get on the train. It really sounds like y'all should get on the train if you like cruising, if you like river cruising. You're going to get on a train instead of a ship. This is absolutely amazing. So, Jeff, I can't thank you enough for tuning in tonight or joining us tonight.
I appreciate you. Appreciate all of you, and I wish you all a very happy holidays. And thank you again for your time.
Yes, happy holidays, everybody. And we'll see you. Wow, the next time you see me, I'll be on a cruise ship. And if we don't see you, happy holidays, everybody.